Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. And unfortunately, the file was so big for the actual Star Citizen event. It was like a 10-hour, 12-hour stream of the actual Citizencon event that we did a full Answer the Call for. I was really unable to kind of break it up and put it into a proper Answer the Call for the YouTube channel. So I kind of want to almost do a little bit of a redo, as well as also discuss all the recent news. As of this morning, for me, last night, for most people, the Star Citizen guys released some of the panels that we didn't get to see yet at Citizencon, the ship one, as well as the prison one. So we watched both of those today on stream and discussed them a little bit. But I, kind of want to hear what you guys think about that, as well as the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, what you guys thought about that, and stuff. So my initial thoughts on things, I thought Citizencon was pretty great. I did feel underwhelmed by the actual demo of Citizencon. I think it was really kind of, I don't want to say thrown together, but it obviously wasn't a complete working mission, and they were faking a lot of things, and it was really just kind of cringe to me. But the actual technological hurdles that they climbed over, the planet version 4 stuff, tech looked really awesome. The Tony Z panel was really great. I thought the ship panel that we just watched today was really awesome, as well as the prison one was really cool. And I'm looking forward to hearing the UI one. But yeah, I think a lot of it was the theme that I thought Citizencon was scale, and it was scaling to the universe that is promised with Star Citizen. And I think a lot of the technological things that they showed on the panels, as well as in the actual keynote event, show that that's a bit of a focus right now. And the gameplay stuff is still waiting for that stuff to come online before they can really put that into any sort of drive, let alone hyperdrive, and really start seeing a lot of gameplay come into Star Citizen. So I think a lot of people were underwhelmed by Star Citizen. And for me, I was from a gameplay standpoint, but from what they're actually working on and some of the progress being made, I think they made quite a bit of performance improvements and technological improvements to get to that scale that we hope Star Citizen will be at one day. The Intergalactic Aerospace Expo is another one of those things that I think was a bit underwhelming, and I think a lot of people feel it was underwhelming because it had less in it than it did last year. I think, like most people in the world, they hope everything's going to be better every time you do it. And this year, they didn't have ships that weren't flyable. I think they really wanted to focus. This was more on the new player, as well as I don't think they wanted to spend the dev time on bringing anything new or anything additional to the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, because it's a waste of time. So I kind of appreciate what it is and what it was and what it will be. And I don't think it's anything other than that. I thought some of the Jack McCleary stuff was pretty cool. It was pretty funny. It was a nice touch, but it was minor. It wasn't any big, extravagant video content from them either. And I think that that's okay. I think a lot of people were hoping for more out of that. I was as well, I guess, but in the end of it, I was kind of fine with what it was. And then, yeah, those other two panels were something that I thought were really awesome. The prison panel was fantastic. I think that might actually be the first true gameplay loop, although Luke did mention early on that all the things they discussed they will not have in the first release. So, yeah, pretty interested. But with that said, I think I'm already ready to bring in our first caller, and I think he might be the only caller we have on the line currently, and that's Bellatar. So we're probably going to give him some time, and then hopefully some of you guys come in, or it might just be a me and Bellatar podcast. We'll have to see. Hey, Bellatar, how you doing, man?
Hi, Mike. I'm great. How do you do?
I'm well. So, what do you want to talk about first? I mean, it's quite an open-ended answer the call today. So,
okay. Well, maybe let's start with a little overview, because I was actually really surprisingly hyped by the content of the panels.
Mm-hmm.
Which I didn't expect, especially the demo, as you said, was, I think it was actually, if you look at all the details and all the basic system it showed off, like this temperature system and this survival system, I think thought that was rather cool, but the other panels were in the end even more interesting, and I was actually quite blown away by some of them. So my overall impression is really great.
Okay.
With one big elephant in the room, which did not get mentioned other than in two side remarks by Chris, which is a flight model, of course. So I thought that my favorite was, I think, in the end, Tony Z and Quantum. That was really mind-blowing because it got a bit tedious in the beginning of explaining for 20 minutes what is actually bad in the game and not working well in the game. But when they then turned on Quantum and showed what it could do, I was really blown away. This is really amazing, and this is so important to actually turning this into a living universe that is complex and maintainable, and that was really fascinating. So that was my personal highlight of all those panels. And I just now watched the prison video.
Before we get into that,
yeah.
if you don't mind, can we touch more on the Tony Z panel?
Yeah, of course.
Like, what was your? Because I think that there was a lot there, and I made a video on it and like kind of breaking it down. And the very end of the video is the most important part, and I got a lot of comments that were like both positive and negative, and I think the negative commenters didn't realize what that last part actually was. And I'm just curious, like, what was your what excited you about the actual panel in particular? So certain things that he said, and I want to see if you and I are kind of seeing the same things.
Yeah, of course. What excited me about that is that it is actually, just as he explicitly stated, it is not a system, or this will not be a system that requires where the efforts to maintain scale with the scale of the game.
Yeah.
But which enables you to scale the game while the efforts to maintain it ramp up to a certain point, but then more or less flatline, and you start only tuning certain characteristics and are more or less free from having to micromanage missions and economies and stuff, but can really rely on a kind of self-sustaining simulation where if you need to balance something, you can just tweak a few buttons.
And not only that, you can easily find that you needed to balance it by seeing the graphs or seeing the quanta stop
absolutely.
moving. It's visual as well. For you don't have to be an economic genius to, because obviously I don't think this is just, the whole universe isn't in Tony Z's hands. It's going to be in multiple designers' hands, right? So the visual tool was really important.
Yep, and I think so. It even goes beyond economy, because if you look at what Quantum is, how they set this up, this is actually a framework. This is how you would design a machine learning environment, where you have certain parameters, you have certain characteristics, but you don't statically script behavior that never changes. You could use what they have set up there to, because you've even implemented sorts of feedback loops to inform the quanta whether their behavior was successful or not. You could actually turn this into a machine learning environment in which your quanta evolve into something better than you even designed them for in the first place.
That sounds incredibly dangerous, sir.
Well, you wouldn't just let it loose on players, of course, but you can always have a system run on the side and experiment with that. And if you feel comfortable with using that, you put it in the game. I don't know whether that's their intention, their direction they're going, because it's of course a hugely complex topic which you would need experts for. But I do think that economic simulations and even FPS and flight combat simulations in the future of gaming will be or should be controlled by neural nets, because statically scripted AI will always has been planned and always can be figured out at some point. But that is very far out there. I also think that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you haven't touched on what I thought, but go ahead. When your thoughts, I thought were finished, so go ahead.
What I also think is, aside from this economical aspect, you just saw in the system that they could add a number of pirates, which indirectly introduce combat into the game, PvE combat. So in the first state, when you have only those dots and those calculations and no animated ships, this might be rather uninteresting and for the actual player. But if they improve their systems in the sense of that those quanta are always present in the universe, and if you as a player approach a quanta in the simulation, it actually gets rendered into your client. You see the ship, you see the NPC, you see them performing certain actions like mining or like doing combat. This gets really interesting in the sense of you might even get rid of those probability volumes after all, because you have a total simulated population, and whenever you run across a quanta, it's just rendered like another player you run into, and it just depends on how intelligently they are modeled, so that you really can interact with them, either friendly or in a hostile way.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to touch on too, was the actual end of the show. They put the panels on the screen, and they said, in this panel, there's this many NPCs, this many pirates, this many security. This is the value of the cargo that's here. This is what cargo is here. And I don't see why would you even bother getting rid of those probability values, because then that's how these NPCs are being rendered. That's how they're being rendered properly, based on the simulation of the Star Citizen universe. I think that's like the part that everybody missed was, yes, there's these little dots flying all over the screen. It was very simple because there was only a few kind of calculations that they did with certain commodities and factories. But when they laid those panels across the screen and hovered their mouse over it and said, this is what's here, and then when you cross into that panel or in that area, then the probability volumes change for what you could possibly come across. So when the NPC that you come across is there, it's going to be that NPC that is in that simulation, which has been living its life, buying clothes, eating, sleeping, bought a certain ship, bought certain components on that ship, and that is the NPC that you're going to see in the game. So yes, it's this tiny background simulation that is quite simple from an economic standpoint, is what people are saying to me in like the YouTube comments, but it is incredibly game-changing as far as video games go. For me, I don't think anybody's doing this, where that's the NPC that you come across. There'd be millions of these quanta flying around, but the one you come across is real. It's part of the simulation.
Yeah, that's maybe what people may be missing, that this link that you are in the same universe like them. They're not running separately. This is not an indirect connection, but they are actually just Star citizens like yourself, creating this kind of content. And the level to which this enriches the game just depends on how well they behave when you actually encounter and meet them. Reiterating on that point with those pirates added, you could use this for, I don't know, PvE campaigns as well, because once you've got your flight combat AI to a certain point, you could create whole campaigns and events in the universe, PvE events, in which, I don't know, Vandal invade and overrun a system. Just like they added pirates in that little simulation, when you have a stable economy with multiple systems, and then want to spice up the game a little bit, and you create some kind of in-game event, or in your lore you reach a certain point where a certain system was invaded by Vandal, you can use this to introduce those Vandal, and you have entire new gameplay loops which throw the balance off whack. Players need to organize to counter it. Maybe even orgs need to come together to battle this. And there are so many possibilities with the system. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you touch on something really big there. It is not only can like a designer use it, but the lore team could be using it for because you call them gameplay loops, but like MMOs have story arcs, and most like if you look at a game like WoW or I've never played EVE, but story arcs in some of these games are super static, where this doesn't have to be like that, and that's why like I really think that this is very incredible and very, very fascinating because of the possibilities that it brings in. Like, did what we see was very like sort of rudimentary? I would say sort of, but it's also, you know, really has tons and tons of potential. And I think you hit on another just part of it there.
Yeah, it's like I think I understand what you mean in the sense that it is not just a random event you can create, but like an entire thematic expansion in WoW, where you say you have a huge slab of content that needs to be statically designed by them. Where in this system you can just say, okay, I've got this system, the Vandal are there, I program them to be very aggressive, and then I just let them loose and see what happens. And this dynamically creates something like in other games would be an entire expansion that they take a year to develop.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously they'll have to do some art assets, and like, you know, anytime there's ever a story arc, there's probably some like cool item that's involved or items or whatever, right? But the amount of work that would have to be done would be significantly less. Like even if when you talk about their like procedural system where they go into like when the economy is bad around a certain planet or moon, they plan on like changing a slider so things look more drab and run down and dirty, and the NPCs that are there, I mean, this will obviously be done through the Quanta simulation as well, is the type of clothing they would wear would be different. The things that they sell in the shop would be, you know, and a lot of this can be done through that tool.
Yeah, and so, you can do this indirect balancing as well, in the sense of, I don't know, you create an event and suddenly you see, oh, well, I maybe have overdone it a little bit because my actual players I overrun by my hostile NPCs, but then you just add a few NPC advocacy ships and you get some assistance and you can balance it on the fly without having to do clunky patches. So
and not even balance it on the fly. You have the ability to balance it and find out what happens before you ever put it online, right? The whole economy, before they ever turn it on, gets run through a simulation at 200 times speed.
Yeah, to a certain degree without player interaction, yeah, but of course.
And the player interaction is obviously quite minor in comparison to the Quanta interaction, right? So, I mean, I think when we all are jumping in there, we're going to have some impact on the economy. If we don't, then what's the point? But yeah, it should be really interesting, and we can move on from this topic, but I definitely wanted to hit on that point of the when they brought the little grids on the screen. That was the whole point of the project for me was that, because that's the point of it. But yeah. So if you want to continue on to anything, we just have one other caller on the line. So if anybody wants to call in, we are live on Twitch right now. If you're watching on YouTube, every Sunday that we do an answer the call at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and you can use the ! Discord command and join in on the Sitcon. I think it's right now Sitcon 2949 ATC podcast channel, and the mods will sort you through the queue and get you in the call. So, all right, Beltar, go ahead and continue. What else would you like to talk about, like the expo or anything?
Well, let's maybe just do a short overview, just touch on the topics shortly, because there was so much actually, and so much I was hyped about. I mean, even socks coming in 3.8 and them even dropping, or already dropping the first Evo build of that just blew me away because it was speculation. And will it be in 2019 or will it be 2020? And then they just say, well, it's here, version 1, and you'll get to test it soon, which is really huge because this is one of the last huge technical pillars, which is also required for Squadron 42. So that was great.
Yeah.
The Planet Tech demonstration, Planet Tech V4.
The panel was really cool. I was expecting that to be a boring panel. That was really cool.
Yeah, and I think they really, if I had to choose on what to address regarding Planet Tech, because what breaks immersion the most to me is those. If you look at LODs or Planet Tech, is you approach something or you fly away from something and then something pops or just disappears. It somehow.
Or you can kind of see the grid lines, like based on the painting or whatever.
Yeah, it happened so many times. I quantumed into a planet, just flew down through the surface. Everything looked fine. And then the next level of detail popped in, which looked great, but threw me totally out of the immersion because it just popped in. And that is great that they're addressing that. Sure, we'll need some work, and the celestial bodies will look different, but that was a really cool thing. Then Luke's talk, the prison talk, it's just like, I don't know, public transport in cities, or caves, which I never knew I could want, but now I heard about it. It's actually amazing.
Yeah.
This merit system that they are creating a dual-use system to somehow punish and limit players in the verse, but at the same time keeping it some kind of gameplay loop, so you're not just kept from playing the game. I think it's really
You're
great.
living the actual life of a criminal. So instead of just being a dick all the time, you actually have to live the life of a criminal. Going to jail is something that happens, and learning how to manipulate your time in jail to make it either as enjoyable or be as short as possible, or become a jail crime lord, that's a very interesting way of doing things, and I don't know too many games that do it.
Yep. So I think that it's a very intelligent solution that is at the same time fun and inhibiting. So I really like that. The ships panel. I mean, ships have been getting a lot of hate recently, the Carrack and all that stuff, and I'm quite indifferent, to be fair, because whenever there's been issues with ships, they've been fixed in the long run.
Why are people so concerned about the exterior of your ship in a first-person game? I don't get that part. The interior looked great. The gameplay is obviously not there right now, but I'm assuming at some point we'll get some sort of fun exploration gameplay. So I don't know what the big deal is.
And even the exterior will get fixed. I mean, just remember the Warden. They had this great concept poster at the wall. They implemented it in game. It looked different. People got upset about it, and they fixed it. It's going to be the same with the Carrack. Maybe the first version that they're putting in right now, and I actually do believe the dimensions change. I mean, they even showed it on the panel. The dimension changed as they always did because they became more realistic in their design process. They plotted it out. It needed the space to fit the functions, and so you end up with a certain exterior. And I'm pretty sure they'll find a way to they'll first be putting it in, and maybe at some point they'll be redoing the exterior to look a little bit, I don't know, more aggressive or cooler, but I actually couldn't care less at the moment. So I think the ship panel was actually also quite cool, and it was, as much as ships are at the core of the game, to me it wasn't the most interesting and exciting one, because I'm actually so used at getting great ships, and we have so many that you're
almost indifferent, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk down their great work, but it's just I'm taking it a little bit for granted.
Yeah, and I'll go off a little bit on a tangent there. And I've said this. I think I said it on stream like last week at some point. I think that's Chris Roberts' biggest mistake is that focusing on the visuals first, it's his biggest mistake, but is his greatest achievement, right? Is focusing on the visuals first is what earned him, and congratulations, just getting $250 million in funding just from us, is bonkers, right? And that's what got him that. But at the same time, how long could that possibly hold us on for, without continuing to get the influx of new players to get wowed by the visuals? Because no matter what, you get used to, or you tend to just not even notice the visual work that went into the game. Like Planetech V4 is going to come in, we're going to see it, we're going to think it's awesome, and then within a week or two, after you've played it pretty consistently, you will not even notice it anymore. And they really need to get in gear.
Watch so many sunsets.
Exactly. Like, how many sunsets can you see? How many leaving or coming into a planet or moon can you do before it becomes sort of similar? And that's why, like, this coming year, and the prison panel actually was pretty exciting, is this is the type of gameplay that they think that they're capable of, and it doesn't even require that coding from server-side OCS right now. So once that's in, what can they do? So it's very important that next year that the focus is on gameplay loops, because visuals just can't hold on much longer, I feel like. So it's like a mistake, but obviously it's been a blessing.
Yeah, you needed it to get here, but now you need to be able to turn around, and I feel like this is where Sean Tracy and the Theaters of War comes in.
Yeah, perfect segue.
They may actually turn this into the direction, and I think it's a very clever approach to this, by being really thrifty on dev time, and actually iterating and balancing rapidly with the players involved. So I think it's actually it's not some game mode I would buy or play this game for, but it's something I think they've been seeing how those org battles in all those videos on YouTube blew up, and how they are really great and entertaining and fun, but also take a lot of logistics to set up that not every player can go through. So I think it's a great idea to create this game mode where everyone via a matchmaking system has access to that. The players can have a little bit of a short-term fun, which is low effort for players to get into, and at the same time they are getting this ton of balancing data that Sean talked about. They can use to actually balance not only this game mode but the weapons for the PU, which I think is the perfect approach, and which I also think is to segue into the elephant, which is the flight model.
Yeah,
they should be using a similar approach to developing and balancing the flight model, because obviously Chris mentioned it in side notes. There is work to be done, and they've lost a lot of veteran players currently to the flight model not being as fun as it was before. And it appears like they are taking a shot at it. They're releasing some kind of update in a patch, and then they're doing a dive, disappearing for too long a time, working for themselves. Then they're reappearing with another shot, and it doesn't really get into a feedback loop with the players, where they take a back and forth of feedback and then iteratively developing it. And I think they should do exactly the same with the flight model, with Arena Commander, than they're doing with Theaters of War. Bring their current state of flight model into Arena Commander, get players to play it, actively ask for and take feedback, and then iteratively develop it further and reintroduce that into the PU, so the flight model actually becomes fun again.
Yeah, I think that has the potential to be there, but I don't. I hate that that's where we're at, like where we had to be doing it in Arena Commander. I wish they figured this stuff out years ago. Having to do this in 2019, 2020 is silly to me. But
it's a bit late. I don't know the back end stories and what happened behind the scenes, but I mean, I still trust I trust them to fix it in the end. But it seems like the process could have started way earlier. It could have way more streamlined, and I think they would have benefited from way more player interaction and player feedback.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah, and I think in general the only thing left to say for me would be there were some regarding to the delivery of the Citizencon. I think the content was great. The decision to have panels not on stream and not live transmitted on a second account was not good because it took them way too long to upload the missing panels. Way too long.
Yeah.
Especially if you think about the ship panel that they just uploaded yesterday, contained the most info about a really expensive new ship they were selling yesterday.
Yeah.
So they were actually expecting people to drop $2,000 on a ship they know nothing about. So that's a bit odd.
It's insane.
I mean, I mean, it's odd to drop $2,000 on a digital spaceship anyway, but that's a whole other matter.
Yeah.
But we've all been there, so that was a bit odd. And I think the direction. I don't know, is that the word? The direction? How you direct the cameras and do your cuts and what you show in picture? That was a bit off. Way too many times, I just saw a close-up of the panelists when they were talking about something on stream which I couldn't see, and that was not well rehearsed, and that should, I think, change for the next Citizencon. I think the whole event with all the volunteers and the live part at the beginning they did with Tyler and Lando, that was really great. That was fun. But the transmission of the panels and the direction of the panels of what they showed in stream needs work.
Yeah, and I'm kind of bummed out. What I'd like to see them do, and Bellatar, since we're actually starting to get a small queue now, we'll probably leave it here or do your final thoughts after this one.
Yeah, of course.
Is the idea of what they had last year was, hey, it's $20, and because we want to do this second panel, but it costs a lot of money. I mean, Chris said it would cost about $100,000 to do that.
What?
Yeah, I mean that's the number he threw out there. It was like $100K. It was crazy. So I think that whole production costs like $100,000, or maybe the whole production cost $200,000, and the other half was $100, right? And what I'd like to see them do is say, these are Star Citizen goodie packs. Here's what's in them. Have the art already done, ready to go. Something cool. Here's what you're gonna be getting on Citizencon Day. In game, ready to rock, right? And they say they're $20. And if we sell this many, we'll do 2 panels. If we don't, then we'll put the panels up on YouTube later. And they'll sell like frickin' hotcakes, no problem. You know, and I think that they can afford to do that then, because you could see the difference in production value of the panels that we saw versus the panels that we got on YouTube later. YouTube had one camera, no editing. It was one screen where there was like camera changes and multiple cameras with the other ones. So it obviously incurred a cost, and that's why they didn't do it. But we're very good about taking their costs in our hands and doing that. So why not just,
Yeah, and I don't want to throw any shade at that team, because I'm sure they're working their asses off. It is an amazing event. It's just, if you're being nitpicky, that is the one thing I would point out that needs some more work.
Yeah, I agree. Well, is there anything else that you want to add before we get going? No. Okay. All right, so I'll bring our next caller, and thank you very much, Bellatar, for holding the show on your shoulders while we waited for some people to get comfortable to come on today. I appreciate it, Bellatar, man. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Bye.
Bye now. All right, so our next caller is C Dizzle, And it's hard for me to actually see if his name changed. It did. All right. What up, Dizzle? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man?
How's it going? We haven't talked in a little while.
Oh, it has been a minute, has
Yeah.
it not?
Yeah. So do we skip talking about anything Star Citizen and just talk hockey, or?
Oh, fuck yeah.
All right.
Dude,
So
McKinnon's been on a tear.
Yep. So before everybody starts cringing because they don't know what sports are, we'll switch back over and we'll continue our hockey discussion later. But what did you think about Citizencon? Like how much? Because you don't play that often, do you?
Yeah, hardly ever.
Okay, so coming from that perspective, where Bellatar probably plays quite a bit, what did you think about it, and what was your perspective of Citizencon and the expo this year?
Well, seeing as how I had gone to the one last year, I had like at least an idea of like what these things look like live, and from what I could tell on my side of the screen, it looked way better than it did the year before.
Okay. Yeah.
But
you think they learned some lessons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many errors were there on this year's stream?
Like none.
Yeah,
there was
right?
like buffering occasionally, but like none.
I mean, I thought it overall incredible success for the team that puts that stuff together.
Yeah. It looked like what? Okay, when you were there last year, did it feel like a con? It didn't look like a con, but this year looked like a con.
That was the first con I'd ever been to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never been to like a regular one. So I don't really know. I mean, I thought it was cool with having like the actors and stuff, like playing in character at their booths.
Yeah.
But I don't know what all they had this year at theirs.
Yeah. Well, what about the actual like live stream stuff? Anything like strike you as interesting coming from someone who doesn't play the game that much? Are you reinvigorated at all? I know you're very focused on combat kind of stuff. So there was one tiny comment, and that was it.
I initially didn't have, like, I wasn't that blown away by the economy thing until me and Sawyer talked about it a little bit, and I was like, holy crap, that actually is like insane.
Pretty epic.
So like I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
I thought that whole that new mode sounds like it could be interesting.
I think we're going to be bored of it pretty quickly because it's going to be really buggy and a complete mess. Like it starts with the Star Marine base, you know, and that's part of the problem. Is it hopefully it puts the hyperdrive of cleaning up what Star Marine is and was a little bit quicker, but they need people playing it, right? So they have to have something interesting to play.
Yeah, to support how many vehicles it seems like they're wanting in this game, like it seems like it needs to be like at the very least 25v25, right?
Yeah, it's 20v20.
Oh, okay. It's 20v20?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Like I don't see that many people playing to support that many lobbies of that.
Yeah. At least initially they will, but long term I don't know, because I think people are going to run into desync and issues and get frustrated and kind of give up.
Oh no, the fight's in the base now, but I'm still flying like in between the ground and almost atmosphere.
Well, I think it's like different. It's different like stages. So once one stage is complete, the whole team is moved into the next stage. But yeah, I think that's how it works. They didn't really give, like, from the outside perspective, someone who didn't play it, where the other guys who went to the event and played. I think that's how it works. So it's like different phases they were calling them. But
that makes sense.
Yeah, it should be cool. And what I think we all kind of think that it's going to fade quickly, but if it doesn't, that's awesome. And then you build on that, and hopefully you build on that from, even like progression standpoint, like you earn skins or medals or something like valuable to you or to somebody to continue playing the game, right?
Mm-hmm. But do you think those should be in-game based rewards or in-game mode based rewards?
I don't know. I don't know how a lot of people feel, but I'd like to see some of that stuff transfer over. Like, I don't know, on YouTube, when you hit 1 million subscribers, they give you a big plaque, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The company does. Well, what if you make some sort of an achievement inside the video game, and the video game company sends you some sort of physical thing, which would be a little in-game item instead? I don't see anything wrong with that.
League of Legends does that.
Do they really?
If you hit Challenger, by the end of the season, or if you finish the end of the season in Challenger, they send you a jacket.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, so like, even though that's like a little kid's game for 12-year-olds, that's really cool.
Daddy.
Yeah. But no, I've never played League, so I don't know. But I know you like to play it.
You tend to shy away from games that are difficult, right?
No, I tend to shy away from games that are good. So yeah, the thing like that is like, why not? Why wouldn't they be in the actual Star Citizen game?
Yeah. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah. What else?
Let's see.
I mean, did you watch the actual like keynote? And did you? I mean, man, it was really cringy for me. That was like a high level of cringe. Like we almost, for me, yeah. For me, it was. I felt like we met almost maximum level of cringe. Like, Gled, watch out! I see a shadow over there. He's gonna get you. It's like, no, he's not, because your NPCs haven't been able to do anything functional for years. So like, it was like that's the only part. The keynote is usually the most exciting part of the con, and that was the most just like. I just
pulled you out of it.
Yeah. Everything else was amazing, and that was the one that like was like, ugh.
I honestly had it tuned out the whole time. I was just watching.
Gotcha. It's all about the visuals.
But then again, I was also at VerseCon.
Okay. So it's a little harder to listen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How was that, by the way? Since I was trying to get in touch with Astropub there, but overall, like, what was VerseCon like, and was it good? I mean, I went to the first VerseCon.
Yeah, no, I thought compared to the first, I think the first VerseCon was better.
Okay,
but
still cool to hang out with people, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Good to see everyone IRL. It's always fun.
Of course. I guess, is there anything else you want to chat about before we bring on the next guy? But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see your perspective, though, because you don't play as much. A lot of people are like fully in it, you know?
I know you're super white knighting the fact that the Carrack didn't look that great, but I can see why people are mad about it.
I can see why people are mad, yeah. I just don't understand like the absolute obsessiveness over the exterior of something when the only time you see the exterior is when you're not playing the game. Like the interior, the cockpit view, where the panels are, how they work. I could see that being so much more important, but people really put so much focus on the exterior of the ship when you're going to be able to like change what it looks like paint-wise and like that kind of stuff later on in the future.
It's because a lot of people fly in third person.
I think it's because a lot of people don't play the game because there isn't much of a game yet, and they're busy taking screenshots. And where you're seeing the most hate is on Reddit, which is fucking it's a photo bucket for Star Citizen. You know, right now that's what it is.
Pretty much, right?
It won't be in the future, but that's what it is right now.
How am I going to generate upvotes if I can't take beautiful pictures of my Carrack?
Yeah, because you can't share a guide on how to do something incredible in Star Citizen because you just don't have that capability yet, right? But I think long-term, people are going to be going to the Star Citizen Reddit and saying, hey, I'm struggling with this. How do I do this? And people are going to help out on the Reddit. But right now, it's just like, look at this beautiful screenshot because that's all Star Citizen really has to offer at the moment.
But then again, at first, I didn't even realize it was the Carrack. I legitimately thought it was a ship that they were using to make fun of.
It's not as rigid.
It looks like a ship from that other fucking game, Elite Dangerous.
Really?
Like,
I don't think so.
No, like when it first like came like out of the shadows, I was like, are they making fun of an Elite Dangerous ship right now? and then it got into the light. I was like, oh fuck, that's the Carrack. That's kind of my favorite ship that I have in my hangar.
So I see what it is. They ruined your baby.
Yeah.
But they're gonna do that to me with the Orion. You're all gonna flip this on me when the Orion comes out, and they killed my baby.
As soon as you get like a good view of it, I'm like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. It's just at first it looked like it didn't have much texture on it, and then I was like, oh, okay, I still see where most of the lines are, and watching that other ship dock on the inside was dope as hell.
Mm-hmm. It is like a little more like rounded than I expected. There was like a lot of like rigid lines and like break-offs from the exterior that I don't see now, but I mean, I still think it has like the general silhouette. I think people are overreacting a little bit, especially because it's not coming out until February.
People overreacting for Star Citizen?
No. You know? So, yeah. But all right, Dizzle.
I shall catch you later.
Yes. When are we playing each other in fantasy? It's probably pretty soon.
It's gotta be soon.
Yeah. I'm beating my brother by 1 point right now. It all comes down to today.
Just for reference, how my season's going, I've only lost to 3 people. Your brother.
And the two top idiots that are just like
I lost
ungodly lucky.
I'm the only person to lose to the person in last place. And I'm the only person to beat the person in first place.
That's funny. Yeah.
And that was back-to-back weeks.
That's funny. That's because you have like a hot and cold team, I think. But all right. They're cringing in chat. They're weird champing. Yeah. They're weird champing. All right. Bye, Dizzle. Talk to you later, bud.
Later, man.
All right, now bringing in the next guy. Guys, you could stop weird champing, okay? You could stop weird champing. We're going to bring in Unmatched. Unmatched, how are you, bud?
Hello. Do I sound all right?
You sound great.
All right, good. So I'm guessing you're at the topic is what are my thoughts on Citizencon and the expos?
I believe that's what the title says, sir.
All right.
We have confirmed you can read.
I'm not going to lie. For the whole year, like my feeling towards Star Citizen had dropped to like a 2 out of 10.
In like you hate it 2 out of 10, or like you're just so indifferent you don't give a fuck?
Yeah, like dude, when I discovered Star Citizen in December 2015, that's all I could think about for like a good month, and then I just followed it crazy for the last, up to like the last year. You know what I'm saying? That's when it seemed like to me the everything dropped off as soon as they got that 50 mil of donation from that billionaire guy. It's like something changed at CIG because
something
of that guy.
Did change. Yeah, they put that focus into Squadron 42, and it was a lot less forward-facing stuff to us.
Yeah, and it's just like something changed. Like in the last year, Chris hasn't been up in the front seat for a while.
Yep. Like
Sandy wasn't even at Citizencon. I didn't see her in any of the keynotes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because of how the community might feel about her. But
she's a big shot board member now, is what it is.
Yeah, I heard about that too. Again, because I follow it a lot, and so my feeling towards Star Citizen had dropped from, constantly following it to like I'm at a 2 right now. I'm missing certain videos every week when I never used to miss a single video. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, some part of me wanted to even sell my $1,300 worth of ship on eBay. Like I just felt so bad, dude. Not that I hate in a hated way, it's just that my hype had dropped so bad. I started doubting shit and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is understandable. This year was like it was slow, dude, for a while.
Yeah. So it dropped to a 2, but if you want to know what my summary is that like it's brought like this year's Citizencon, it brought me back up to like a 7
Okay.
7 out of 10.
All right.
They did a good job. I watched all the keynotes. I skipped through the lure maker ones. I don't care too much about lure, even though I do care a little bit. But I just skipped through that one. I watched the one about the jail. I watched ship talk. I watched I watched all the expos. I watched Adventure Continues and Begins. I watched all that, and it was a pretty good Citizencon. Last year I remember thinking to myself after Citizencon last year, I was like, I didn't feel fulfilled, but this year I feel, they really did a good job. Even though I don't care too much about Squadron 42, I wish they had told us something about that.
Yes, that
like
was
they
interesting. The absolute it didn't even exist.
They didn't even mention it whatsoever. I'm sitting there like, this is supposed to be, we're supposed to be hitting beta next year for the or alpha next year for Squadron 42, and they didn't mention it once. Not that I care much, but still, that's gonna be the game that's supposed to carry me on until the Star Citizen is ready. The big finale of Star Citizen comes on. And I was just like, damn, where is this show? Where's Squadron 42? He said, I remember last year he said he had a few more big stars in the, behind the curtains that he was going to reveal. I thought he was going to bring them out this year. And he didn't. But I like the snow effects that they showed. I like that, the weather is going to be affecting your body. I like that you're gonna have to eat a little bit to keep your character up, even though they moved
The people were mad.
Yeah, I understand why they're mad.
People were mad.
Really, I understand why people are mad, but I don't know why everybody should be mad. I don't like it. Yeah,
because of the way he said it. It's because of the way he said it.
The debuff thing.
Yeah,
he said you have to eat,
or you will die. He was like, yeah.
I mean, does that play into the character status?
Yes.
System, yeah. Because if you're out in the cold a lot, that means your body's gonna start burning heat a lot more. And I guess your metabolism's supposed to speed up to burn whatever food in your stomach and stuff like that. Is that gonna like play into that? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Is like being in stressful situations gonna make make your character goes more thirsty quicker? Is it gonna make them more hungry quicker? Is all that gonna happen?
Yeah, I mean that left so many questions, because he goes, well, we're not gonna make you eat like every hour or whatever, because that's like what people don't like about DayZ. Because it's
I
weird.
don't like that either. I used to play DayZ. I did not like that.
Yeah, I mean we just played DayZ.
I don't like dying
recently.
for no reason.
Yeah, yeah, we were just playing DayZ recently, and like I get that like time dilation is going like really fast, right? So like there's a day and night cycle that's going really quick, but when you're playing in the game, you're still moving at a normal human pace. So the idea of like your hunger not moving at a normal human pace is really weird.
Yeah, I always hated that survival bullcrap. Like, when you're playing like a survival game, like Escape from Tarkov, even, and then you get hit in a certain spot and you start to bleed out, and even if you fix that bleed out, you're gonna get dehydrated quicker or something like that. Yeah. And you didn't die because of a player, you died because of your inability to find water or food, and you're just like, damn, I just lost everything that I stood in that map for a half an hour for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So hopefully they do it right. I mean, that's the one thing is it was less of people were mad, but I think it was more because they were just shocked. Yeah.
As for the Carrack, which was a big showpiece this year, I don't care for the Carrack. I'm not an exploration guy. I'm more of my plan in Star Citizen, like every other game, is to get rich first so I could do other things later.
How are you gonna get rich? What's your plan?
I'm gonna get my main rule is to not buy any fighter ships whatsoever. I only buy industrial ships. I have a Starfarer. I have
Are you getting a
merchantman? No. I already have a minor, and the what's it called? The prospector is my it's my chill ship. It's gonna be my chill ship when I don't feel like doing anything. I just want to sit back, barely do anything. Maybe I come home tired from work and I just want to sit there, relax, not do anything, not worry about anything. Just look at a gauge, go up and down, and manage it. You know what I'm saying?
Mining's much more complicated than that. Okay.
I mind a little bit. I know that.
Don't put down mining like that, all right? Because that's my profession. I feel like you say I don't do anything, and I'm not doing anything.
But you have to understand that mining is gonna be like what it is in EVE Online. Like, you're not gonna make that much. You're gonna be making so little bit. You might as well be running missions. You know what I'm saying?
Excuse me?
Yes, that's what it's gonna be like. It's very low, very low.
Okay.
A risk, and God knows if Chris allows mods into the game, it's gonna be even easier.
I think you need to relax. I think you're doing a direct attack on me personally.
Yeah, but going back to what I was saying, like I plan on getting rich through industry, like doing using my merchantman, using my prospector when I need to chill, like harvesting gas from my Starfarer, doing some missions. My mission running ship is my freelancer miss. That's the only I don't think of that as a combat ship. My main ship that I don't buy at all is combat ships, specific combat ship, because that's what I want to work up to in this. Leave something for me to work up to, not buy everything and not have anything to do in the verse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I feel like you're flexing on chat with your hanger as well right now. Man,
I'm pretty sure the majority of people in chat right now are men older than me. I'm 27, and they've got like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in the game. So I only have like $1,300, and even though it doesn't show in my hangar, because I bought like my merchant man off of eBay. So I'm pretty sure people in chat could flex way much more on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's over 4 years. December 2015 is when I started back in the game. So $1,300 over 4 years is nothing at all.
True.
True.
I'm not telling you how much I've spent.
Yeah, I know that you and I know how much WTFosaurus is. I asked him a bunch of time. He spent a lot. I know you do this part time, so I know you spent a good chunk too. Yeah. But going back to what the Carrack and stuff, I didn't care too much for the Carrack, even though I understand a lot of people want to do exploration and they think they're going to be the first person everywhere. It's not going to end up like that, because there's going to be some dude that's going to be in the alpha. He's going to know where everything is. He's going to write down everything. Some big nerd that's working at like Google
listen, dude, you really attacking everybody. But here, let me rein it in a little bit. I got to rein it in a little bit because we got to stay on topic. You are attacking everyone here in this community. This is crazy.
But that's what's gonna happen. They think they're gonna.
But why you gotta call him like? You didn't just call him like, oh, this is some nerdy guy. You said this nerd, like just like that.
No, I don't have anything to talk bad about nerds. I'm a nerd myself. I'm talking about Star Citizen. I've been following about since 2015. I'm building a computer just for Star Citizen because it's the last. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the last game I ever feel excited about, because I don't get excited about games anymore. Neither do not so much for movies either, because movies nowadays got a lot of politics and I don't like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's rein it back in though. Let's get back on topic. Your thoughts on Citizencon, the expo, stuff like that, and then we got to go to the next caller.
Yeah. All right. So the Carrack. All right. I didn't care much about that, but I understand why people love it. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for that they'll get. They have what it could load. It could put a ship in the front. I mean, through the top and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Happy about that. The weather system I really liked. I'm happy they got the first, basically the blimp from Orgrimmar to Undercity, but in Star Citizen's version with the Valkyrie livery thing. I like that. I wish they had done better. I think they could have done better a little bit with the overall mission that they did there.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, it was kind of rough. They could have done better, but I know that they've got a lot of work to do. Let's see. I'm looking at the Star Citizen YouTube page to see if I can bring up. Oh, the lockup stuff. The lockup stuff. That
was legit.
I hope people can't cheese it too much. I hope to God that people, even though I know I'm going to end up in there at some point, can't cheese the system too much, because that's going to be my end game. I'm going to be trolling the crap out of people after I get rich and stuff like that.
Whoa, dude, this guy, you are so toxic. You are the most toxic caller we've ever had.
I'm going to be trolling people, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to try to like there's a difference between trolling and being griefing people, and I want to thread that line between troll. I don't want to grief people, just like pad ram people and stuff like that. But if you're out there and I see an opportunity to just pull something out of you to say something to me, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? I do it in RuneScape. I did it in World of Warcraft. I'm gonna do it in Star Citizen. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's a great place to leave it. A great place to leave it on Match. So you're coming for him. You're coming for him.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. All right. Thank you so much for calling, man. That was a lot of fun, and I look forward to hearing you for some other topics in the future, man.
All right. Thank you.
Be good, my dude. Bye now. He's so toxic, dude. How toxic was that guy, Memestein? Holy crap.
I don't know. I was talking to Sunday.
Oh, you missed it. I missed it. Did I ruin your conversation?
A little. No,
I'm kidding. Sorry. So what's up? What'd you think about Citizencon and everything?
Yeah, well, to make a good transition, Sunday and I were talking about global warming.
Okay.
How some arguments are fake, and I heard a lot of arguments about Citizencon.
Yeah.
The last couple of days, fake as well.
All right. So give us the real deal stuff.
The real deal is it was the same Citizencon as the last couple of years, and it went exactly as I expected.
Yeah.
How it goes. Great tech, stunning visuals, and no gameplay.
Yeah. Go over here, grab this, get in a fight, fly away with a quick pan. I mean, that's been every Citizencon for the last 3 years.
Right. To be fair, we haven't seen, for some odd decisions, the prison panel.
Yeah. Well, we did see the prison. You missed it. The prison panel's out when we watched it this morning on stream.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
How was it?
It's very cool. It's very cool, and it's literally the first gameplay loop in Star Citizen is prison gameplay. It's actually quite awesome.
Is it a gameplay loop by itself, or does
Yes.
it tie into existing gameplay?
I guess it ties into existing gameplay loops because it involves mining and trading these things called merits. And merits are your time. The more merits you depending on the crime, the more merits you have to work off.
So it's like in Elite Dangerous.
I guess I don't know anything about that, but yeah. We'll talk about this one later because it's weird explaining it to you without you watching it, but yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and some people are asking in chat, the prison gameplay panel is on the Star Citizen YouTube right now, so I'll link it in the description of the YouTube video when this goes up as well.
Just don't forget it.
Yeah, I do tend to forget sometimes.
So,
so ignoring those panels, but yeah.
Yeah. The gameplay we saw, the stealth mission was I even ignore what Chris Roberts said.
Okay.
I think you and others talked about how cringe it was enough.
Yeah, I mean, it was rough.
But the mission itself showed me or told me something about how far along the AI still is. Like you have no the AI had no player detection. no nothing.
Yeah, I expected a lot more
all
this
was
year.
pretending.
Like they were
Yeah.
like, guys, AI improvements. They walked off of a ship, and like people clapped. You know?
Like they always do.
Yeah.
The only difference was it was a different location, but you could have had the exact same result, pretending you're stealthing through a bunker location, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was pretty underwhelming. And another thing, and I know people will make the argument, CIG doesn't want to show spoilers, but not a single mention of Squadron 42 was odd to me as well, considering it should go out to beta in like 8 months.
Pepe laugh.
I mean, yeah. Exactly. You could have shown at least something, like something that is gameplay related, which shows you this is the current state of gameplay in Squadron 42. But we show it in a different environment, even if it was a prototype level that had nothing to do with Squadron 42's levels at all.
The closest thing to any Squadron 42 discussion was the lore, and that's where they really hit on like elections and kind of this like what seemingly is the backstory behind Squadron 42. But they didn't speak of it directly though at all.
Yeah, sorry, I slept through the lore panel and dreamed about having the prison panel.
Yeah, of course, that was really disappointing. Not gonna lie. But yeah, I mean, what else? Did you see any of the expo stuff this week? And underwhelmed or what from that?
Don't care.
Don't care. Standard.
Don't care at all. All I care about at this point is gameplay, and I just I feel like I'm repeating myself week after week.
Yeah.
I'm completely focused on gameplay. Like I heard on the show earlier, you guys were talking about the cloth physics, and it looks great, but to be honest, nobody gives a shit how good cloth physics work if the gameplay is shit.
Yeah, of course. It was just like the little like ooh ah moments that you got from Citizencon. That's all. But that's all they'll ever be, is like a quick little ooh ah moment. But is that going to keep you playing the game for 10 years? Of course not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But the big thing, again, you should watch the prison panel, and I think you'll have a little bit more understanding why we don't have gameplay right now. So they go into that. They basically said they have to convert everything, like just how they had to convert everything over for object container streaming. Now they have to reconvert everything again for server-side object container streaming. So it's like redoing all the missions all over again, and that's why they went with jail gameplay, being the thing that they're working on now, because the question, like Luke answered the question, why now? Why the fuck would you do prisons now? This is silly. And he kind of answered that. It was like that was something that didn't require server-side OCS, and it was something that our guys could work on while the coders are converting things over, right? This is something that our designers can work on while the coders are doing the kind of grunt work to get things patched up for server-side OCS in 3.8.
So do you think server-side OCS is the solution, like the final solution now? Or
no,
is it
of course
just
not.
It's
another carrot, because then you have server meshing after that, and you have the other steps with persistence and all that, and it's yes, they keep putting this carrot in front of our head, but all of these carrots make sense, right? Like you need the persistence, you need this. We need this object container streaming to make Star Citizen work, but you also need persistence in all the games. And what do those things touch? All of those tech little things that they're trying to get to, they all touch the mission system, they all touch the economy, they all touch every gameplay loop you're gonna do. So I'm with you, IDD. I want gameplay just as much as you, but the whole thing is how can we sit here and say you need to make gameplay now when it doesn't make sense for them to do anything now. We all know what they should be doing. They should be going into the closet, not sharing anything, not giving us any builds, and just build out that stuff as quickly as possible, instead of doing all the extra bullshit that they do to keep the game relevant or funding keeping to come in. But that's not realistic either. So the only natural thing I can do is just enjoy whatever the fuck I have now. If I get bored of it, play other video games and wait patiently. I don't know what else to do anymore.
No, in your or in our position, we can do nothing but wait, right?
Yeah, but we do something, and like I don't want to put you down because I feel the exact same way you do, but we complain that we want gameplay, or we say that we want these things when it's not necessarily realistic for what they did with the game, which was, for whatever reason, focus on the art style first and not getting like a good skeleton base of what Star Citizen should be.
Yeah, true. I agree. And I think I said it multiple times. The path we are on now, like that decision was made in 2015 when they introduced the planet.
Yeah, when they introduced Planet Tech and they started just wildly changing things, we took a turn in a different direction, and I don't know if we'll ever get to what some people wanted Star Citizen to be when they backed in 2013 and 2014. I don't necessarily they think like for those people they're going to get a different experience. And someone in chat just said, Daddy Cash said, did we not want planets, ? Of course we did. But what was pitched back then was something very different, where you would get like a loading screen and you would go down to a planet and you would be at a landing location. You wouldn't be across an entire planet as it is. While that's incredibly cool, that took Star Citizen in a wildly different direction than a lot of the original backers expected. So things changed, things have taken longer, and we're here having this conversation again this week, you know?
And
because
I think
of it.
that was the issue. Sorry if I go back and off topic a bit again. That was the issue with the community in 2015, because they all raved about how planets were introduced, and how great they look and all, and I get that. But my first reaction was, this blows the scope of the game.
Yeah. And it did. And I think a lot of us are comfortable with it because it's so cool. And some of us aren't, right? And I'm somewhere in the middle where it's so cool, but it also is so boring right now, you know? But it's so boring right now, and I wonder what kind of hindrance it's going to put on when they've kind of finally created the box that we put the sand in, and when they start putting the sand in, I wonder kind of how that structure is going to hold up as far as with the server-side OCS, server meshing, persistence, all that stuff that they're telling us is basically essential before they really start the full-on development of what Star Citizen will be. He said server meshing at the end of next year, maybe beginning of next year or the following year. So do we wait until then? I guess we have to. Yeah.
CAG timeframes, like who cares? It's done when it's.
Yep, it's done when it's done, and that's a good thing, and it's also why we're where we are, you know.
I've just seen, just to come back to Citizencon and the topic, like I've seen nothing that would make me play Star Citizen, because I didn't see anything that hinted at even smaller gameplay loops with like 2 or 3 professions that are tied together in a better state.
Yeah.
Like you remember how we memed at Elite Dangerous and said it's an ocean wide but 2 inches deep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly Star Citizen, and Citizencon hasn't changed my mind. That is exactly the direction CIG is going as well.
I have to
Because
agree with that.
they-
CitizenCon didn't change my opinion of Star Citizen and too much this year, at least. I definitely got, for me, a lot of I think I understood a little bit more of the development side of things and why they haven't worked on gameplay. Is that why do it? Why work on gameplay when you have to rework it for socks and server meshing and persistence? Why not get those things in first and then have the gameplay work within the parameters of those things? I understand that a little bit more now than I ever did before, but I can't disagree with anything you're saying at the same time.
Yeah, if that's what they can do at the moment until the tech is there, all right. It's cool they are doing that.
Okay, well, let's touch on
giving us some.
I'm sorry, I'll let you finish. But I want to touch on something that I would have thought you would have liked. So
yeah, sure.
The Quantum thing. Detox said, "How can you say any of that after seeing Quantum though in Twitch chat?" And yeah, I kind of want to pose that same question to you. Is that's something I would have thought you would have thought was really awesome, you know, and to scale of what Star Citizen should be. And I know it's NPCs, but it's one of those big pieces that I know I bought into Star Citizen 4 was this kind of economy in a video game where the NPCs control it, players have some impact, but not so much of an impact that they can ruin it for other players and take too much advantage of it. And they really showed that tool and its capabilities this year. And for me, that was one of the most exciting things that came out of the event. And I wanted to get your thoughts on it.
No, I probably glanced over it too fast.
Okay.
I personally, I always get something positive out of CitizenCon just because I love the tech and I love the visuals and
yeah.
When I see the textures alone, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And the economy part, it was mind blowing. But like again, as much as I love it, if it doesn't tie into gameplay, like in the near future,
it's difficult to get excited about,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
Right.
You initially look at it and you're like, ooh, nice. But what's the implementation in-game going to be like? Yeah.
No, it's amazing. We're sitting on Discord with a couple of guys, Sunday, Kazu, etc. And we really lost our shit when Tony mentioned that people change factories because the new factory owner pays more.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's so much detail. Holy shit.
Yeah. And
that part was amazing.
Yeah.
Just because it doesn't affect my current priorities, which is game.
Okay. Well, I think that's probably a pretty good place to leave it, unless you have something else you're really interested in and sharing today. But
one last thing.
Yeah, go for it.
The Theaters of War,
okay.
I think has some positives and for me personally negatives, because the positive is it could actually make people play Star Citizen again.
Yep.
If the netcode rework is properly done. Like if the netcode is
the big if, bud.
Yeah, the big if. If the netcode and all the networking is similar to what we have right now, people are excited when it's released, they play it for 2 weeks and then never touch it again until the netcode is fixed, just like what happened to Star Marine.
Yeah. They just, you can't keep, and I think with Sean Tracy there, I think you'll feel the same way as I do. You can't just keep developing these little things and just letting them die, right? Like, they just leave them there. They developed Star Marine and put no effort into it, but now they have a team, and it's a team that's headed by Sean Tracy. It's hard not to be somewhat confident about this specific game mode this time. Do you feel that it's going to be the same old song and dance with this, or do you feel different about this one this time? I feel different.
Personally,
Yeah.
Personally, my baseline is I expect the same old routine.
But he like straight up went at like totally said the opposite of what, like he said, this is the problem with Star Citizen, and I'm not doing it this way. I'm not focusing on the visuals. I'm focusing on the game first. Like, do you not believe him necessarily?
That is correct, but I heard that so often before with so many different things. We said, oh, their communication sucks. 3 months later, oh, they learned their communication is great again. 3 months
but
later,
they never
oh,
came out and
sucks.
said it like this. He's gotta walk the walk now. You know?
And what happens if he doesn't hold up to his end of the bargain? Like nothing. Do we run away and quit the project? No.
No, we get the pitchforks out and we make him wear something other than a polo shirt. Okay?
Yeah.
That's it.
Then they say, oh my god, the community is rattled again. Throw him a ship.
Yeah.
Here, have a ship. And the community is, oh, we got a new ship. I mean, I would be glad if I'm wrong. But my baseline is I expect an initial improvement, but I don't know how much resources they keep throwing at it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is definitely a we'll see thing. It's exciting, but
Right.
it's going to take some effort to make sure that the level of excitement stays up with the current level of excitement, right?
Right.
All right, man.
But like I said, I think that game mode could work and people would play it. The negative side for me is it's an isolated playing ground. Like it's something they decided.
It's not within the
do.
Star Citizen like PU universe, you mean?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because it's isolated environment and it's probably easier to do, which I have in the back of my mind. It's pretty much like the prison gameplay. Like you said, it's something they can do right now to keep us entertained, because the real meat, like the PU, is still far out.
Yeah. Okay.
But it could also be like Sean Tracy said, a prototype environment to the whole combined arms thing, like on foot, on vehicle, on ship.
Yeah, I think it's more getting some features worked on and worked out, and then balancing more than the actual PU implementation. But all right, I guess we'll leave it there, IDD.
Yep.
Thank you for calling, bud, and I'll see you in Twitch chat.
Yeah, see you
later, dude. So that will leave it there, boys. That is another week of Answer the Call, and I think it was interesting. I definitely understand a lot of points. So I think we got sort of the overall feel of Star Citizen from this week's podcast. Was kind of polarizing. Some people were really excited about it. Some people were not so much. Some people liked certain things and not others. And I think we got even though we only had a few callers this week, I think we got a generally decent demographic of what Star Citizen kind of was, right? So that'll end the Answer the Call podcast for this week. So thank you so much for watching, as always. And obviously, since this will be going up on YouTube, hit the like button, leave a comment below, let us know what you thought about any of other people's comments as well as my own, and hit the subscribe button. But if you're watching on YouTube, we do this live on Twitch, as well as I stream live on Twitch every day but Friday at 6:30 a.m. Eastern time until around somewhere between 10:30 to noon. So make sure you guys come and check us out on Twitch if you ever get a chance. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.